we're going to be looking at our ellipses where our center is at some point h comma k. If we have a horizontal major axis, that means the equation of this ellipse is x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared is equal to 1. So h comma k represents our center, and then a represents our distance from the center to each vertex, and b represents our distance from the center to each O vertex, and c represents that distance from the center to each focus. If a squared is under the x minus h squared, then that means we have a horizontal major axis. It will be parallel to the x-axis. And our foci are going to have the ordered pairs h plus or minus c comma k. So notice that from the center we are moving to the left and right c. So moving left and right affects our x-coordinate, which means that we just, from the ordered pair we have from the center, we just add and subtract c from the x-coordinate in order to get our ordered pairs for our foci. For the distance from the center to each vertex is a, so we move to the left and right a from the center, which means we'd have the ordered pairs h plus or minus a comma k. Now when we have the ellipse in the form x minus h squared over b squared plus y minus k squared over a squared is equal to 1, notice that a squared is under the y minus k squared numerator, which means that we're going to have a vertical major axis. Our major axis is going to be parallel to the y-axis. And so, again, our a value represents our distance from the center to each vertex. Our c value represents the distance from the center to each focus. The b value represents our distance from the center to each co-vertex, our vertices on our minor axis. So our foci, we're going to have the ordered pairs h comma k plus or minus c. We're adding and subtracting c from the y-coordinate of our center. And then for our vertices, we have h comma k plus or minus a. So we add and subtract a from the y-coordinate of our center. So let's find the equation of our ellipse with the center at -1, 2. We have one focus at -3, 2, and a vertex at -5, 2. And we also want to graph this equation. So when the center is at -1, 2, in general we say that our center is the ordered pair h comma k. So that means h is -1 and k is 2. Then we see we have a focus at -3, 2 and a vertex at -5, 2. It'll help us if we just plot the points that we're given so we can see, are we going to have a horizontal major axis or a vertical major axis. So we have a center at -1, 2. We have one focus at -3, 2. And we have a vertex at -5, 2. So we can see here that our major axis is going to be parallel to the x-axis, which means that our a squared is going to be below the x minus h squared term for our equation for our ellipse. So we'll have x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared is equal to 1. And we want to find the equation of this ellipse, which means that we need to plug in our h, k, a, and b values. So let's see what we can gather from this information that we are given. So we're told that the center is at h comma k, which is -1, 2, so we can plug that in. And we know that the distance from our center to the vertex is represented by a, so we could count it out and see what this distance is. So we see that the distance from the center to the vertex is 4. And we also see that the distance from the center to the focus is 2. So we can use this information to help us find our b value, since a squared is equal to b squared plus c squared, or we can say that b squared is a squared minus c squared. So we have b squared is equal to 16 minus 4. So b squared is 12, and b is equal to the square root of 12, which is 2 square root of 3. So from here, we can use this information to write out the equation for this ellipse, along with completing the rest of our graph. So we have x minus -1 squared over a squared plus y minus 2 squared over b squared is equal to 1. And let's simplify this further. So we have x plus 1 squared over 16 plus y minus 2 squared over 12 is equal to 1 will be our equation for this particular ellipse. Now let's find the ordered pairs for our foci, vertices, and co-vertices. So we know that the center is h comma k, and in order to get our foci, we know that we are moving to the left and right some unit of c, so that means we'll have h plus or minus c comma k, which is -1 plus or minus 2 comma 2, which means that we have the ordered pairs 1 comma 2 and -3 comma 2. So we already plotted -3 comma 2, then we can plot 1, 2 as well. For our ordered pairs of our vertices, we would have h plus or minus a comma k, because the distance from the center to each vertex is a. So we would have -1 plus or minus 4 comma 2. So that would be 3 comma 2 and -5, 2. So we already plotted -5, 2. We can plot 3, 2. Then for our co-vertices, we're going to be moving up and down b units from our center. So we would have h comma k plus or minus b, which is -1 comma 2 plus or minus 2 square root of 3. And whenever we type that into our calculator, we'll get approximately -1 comma 5.464 and -1, -1.464. And so we can plot those 2 points, and then we can sketch our overall ellipse. So we have a sketch of our ellipse along with the equation for the ellipse.